What's up, everybody? It's John Morgan. Listen, I want to just say thank y'all to everybody who has been supporting this podcast. I cannot grow this without the support of the community who allows me to grow. So thank y'all to everybody who's been supporting, everybody who's been sharing it, everybody who is a subscriber on YouTube, everybody who has purchased merch from me, everybody who just tells somebody, through telling somebody in conversation, who share these podcasts in your group text. Thank y'all. I cannot do this without you guys. So thank you for that. Right now, we want to ask for a specific type of support right now. If you can, stop what you're doing. Yes, you right now. Stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing right now. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Become a subscriber to this page, the Live Your Purpose Podcast YouTube channel. Become a subscriber. Like, share, tell somebody about it. But stop what you're doing right now. Go to your YouTube page and become a subscriber. Click it. Click subscribe on the YouTube page and become a subscriber of this page. It allows us to grow, and it allows us to touch different reach with different people. So please, if you call yourself a supporter, if you want to continue to see us grow and continue to see us build, stop what you're doing right now. Go to YouTube, click that subscribe button, like, thumbs up, all of that. Please, right now, Live Your Purpose Podcast. Peace. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Live Your Purpose Podcast. I'm your host, John Morgan Jr. Before we get into who our wonderful guest is for the day, man, I gotta continue to say thank you to the community at LYP. Much love and much appreciation to everybody who's supporting you, whether that's just through supporting the merch, whether that's, through listening to our episodes, whether that's just, telling me, tapping in with me and just telling me that you appreciate what we're doing and what we building over here at LYP. I genuinely appreciate that, and I never take that for granted. If this is your first time tuning in to LYP, man, the intention here is that we want to be able to highlight as many creatives and entrepreneurs on this space as possible. And we really try to do that, by having Black voices on the show, man. We really want to try to be intentional about what we're doing with our platform. And we've been really building this thing. We coming up on our 2-year anniversary of the pod drop in February. And just to kind of see where it's grown, it's just been a beautiful thing, man. So much love to everybody who've been, staying consistent with us and watching us grow. We're gonna continue to, to run with it and make the best of our platform. So without further ado, I want to get into who our guest is on the show. It's funny, man, because the last month or so, I've been having other podcasters on the show. You know what I'm saying? And I've been tapping in with a lot of other people who really do this pod life, man, on a consistent basis, man. And this young brother we got on the show, man, he's a wise dude, man. When I listen to him speak, when I watch his content and digest his content, when I listen to his podcast episodes, man, I love what this dude is putting out there, man. He's really doing the work. You can tell he's really genuine about what he's doing. And man, you can tell he's doing it from a place of service. So, without further ado, man, we got Ahmad The Poet in the building, man. He's an entrepreneur, one half of the Breaking the Machine podcast. And he also runs the Ancestral IG page, man. When I was doing my digging on him, man, I heard a little bit of backstory of how that came to be. So, man, thank you, bro. How you feeling?
Man, peace, love, and light, man. I'm feeling great, man. It's an honor to be on the show. And I think it's a privilege to be able to build with brothers who have that same mindset, man. When I'm watching what your platform is all about and the elevation, it's like, man, people don't understand that this lane is not the traditional lane. You know what I'm saying? We not on here bad women and doing all type of other stuff. Peace and love and light to everybody else who do their own thing. But we about spreading positivity. So, for us to be able to link up and do this it's only right.
Yeah, 100%, man. And it's interesting you say that, because the way that I even came across you, I had been following, the Ancestral page platform for some time, but how I came to know you is through David McCullough. That's my guy, man. Shout out Dave. And what you just said right there, when I was on his show, man, shout out to Dave in the Inner Wealth podcast. Because I was just talking about my experience being in the lane of podcasting and creating content and, doing it from a place of service and really trying to be positive about it. And I was just talking about, man, sometimes I got to check myself about like, when I look at my analytics and my numbers and not really try to get caught up in my head and my own ego of like, man, listen, man, one time I may have 50 views or 25 views or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, damn, like I know my content is on point. But why my shit not adding up like the rest of the entertainment stuff? And I get it. And Dave was like, he was like, well, isn't that interesting? Listen to how the algorithm and the analytic tricks our mind. If it was 25 people in this studio right now, it'll be full. But we tend to devalue, the support that we getting from individuals. That's one person, tuning in. So yeah, man, you're 100% right, bro. When you talk about the really spreading positivity, it doesn't always come with the analytics that show the type of work that we're doing. But regardless, bro, it's very much important. And some can argue, man, maybe even be a little bit more important. You know what I'm saying? So I completely understand.
Yeah, they ride for us, man. When you pushing that positivity, it's something different than just spread negativity. They wake up and they listen to your podcast. They're on their way to work. It's something different. It's a different relationship they have with you, man. It's deeper. So that one person that listened to your podcast, I heard Rory and Maul talk about this on their podcast. Just like a podcast listener in general. You know what I'm saying? They're a very cerebral person. They're a very deep thinking person. So like anybody who listens to a podcast in general is just very, very, they feel, they're very empathetic. They're very cerebral. They feel a lot of different things. And for them to connect with you just means they connect with you in a special way, man. So they connect with positivity in a special way, man. Anybody can connect with drama and all that other stuff, but that 25 people, bro, they connect with it on a deeper level because you connecting with them on a spiritual level, on a positive level, on an energy level. So that's how I be trying not to take it for granted either, man, because it's just like, man, we really do something for each other. These communities that we build, we giving and taking, you know what I'm saying? So it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, that's 100% a fact, man. And I mean, it's an intimate relationship, you know what I'm saying, between the host and the consumer, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? I listen to what you putting out there, man. We being transparent and vulnerable, you know what I'm saying, when we having these conversations. So people are really getting a chance to really get a deep dive into the individual. People don't take that lightly at all, man.
Absolutely not, bro. And I think it can be difficult sometimes to get that vulnerable, you know what I'm saying, on the platform, and especially when, like I always tell Spank, especially when people can touch you, you know what I'm saying, when people are in reach of you and you really still in the gutter, and you really still in the mud of it, man, and you trying to, because everybody thinks this whole positivity movement is just like an instant, enlightenment. And then all of a sudden negative things don't happen. And that dude who you got beef with around the corner, he ain't got beef with you no more. And, that girl that you got, all this other stuff, it don't disappear. It's the same. When you find the enlightenment, it's the same the next day. Like, man, it's the same situation, man. So it's just like, you just got to understand, like, just being vulnerable and doing this stuff, it come with a certain level of being able just to let go of, those societal opinions, man, and just do what makes you happy, man. Just do what makes you happy, bro.
Yeah, that's 100% a fact, man. So listen, man, let's dive into your backstory a little bit, man. Let's start at the origin. You know what I'm saying? When you reflect on, man, them early days, man, of growing up, man, in your city, your family dynamics, like, what's some of those earliest memories, man, that you can kind of connect to as being a youngster, man?
I mean, growing up for me it was really just discipline, a whole lot of discipline, So my thing was just, honing my discipline, staying respectful and doing what I had to do, because I grew up in the nation. Obviously, I grew up in the Nation of Islam. And so it's kind of like that military. If you think about the military upbringing, that's kind of how it was for me, So I think my biggest thing was just staying disciplined and just following the rules. You know what I'm saying? Whether even that's eating one meal a day, whether that's just staying out of trouble, and just really just being disciplined, man. That was the biggest thing for me, being disciplined, right? And my father passed away when I was 10, and that's when I would say the idea popped in my head, what do I want to do? You know what I'm saying? Because I love discipline, I love all these different things, but you know what I'm saying, you gotta mold that child to be disciplined. If that child ain't got that discipline, that guider, it's just like, what do I want to do? I want to do this. I play sports, and you know what I'm saying, I talk my shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm in class clown, talking that talk, and doing all type of stuff, man. And I was a hothead for a long time. I think, around 5th, 6th, 7th grade. I was just a hothead, always getting in trouble, man, and just doing a whole bunch of stuff. And then I say around 8th grade, you know, I don't know, man. See, well, I'm gonna tell the story, right? And I ain't never told the story, right? But just because it's personal, man. But I had a dream in 8th grade, man. That I dreamed about my father, and I was like in a cafe with my father, and I sat down with him, and it was just like a group of wise men reading a book in a library, and I was talking to him, and we didn't really talk much. He just told me, if you don't get your act right, you're gonna die this summer, and that's what he told me. And I was just like, it was crazy, man. I ain't told many people this story. I think I only told one person. So just crazy, you know what I'm saying? But it really hit me, man, because I don't know, some certain things that hit me at a higher frequency. And I don't know, this dream, it just hit me at a higher frequency. At that time, I hadn't dreamed about my father rarely at all. So just to, you know what I'm saying, to visualize him in a dream, and in order for him to give me such a strong message, it changed my trajectory. I stopped getting in trouble in school, and I kind of switched that aggression, because you know what I'm saying, you got multiple sides to this whole conscious thing. You know what I'm saying? You got, and I talked about this on a previous episode of my podcast, you have the conscious brother who's really conscious and very aggressive, and you have another conscious brother who's very conscious, and he's just like a yogi. He's just like peace and love. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I found my balance in the middle. You know what I'm saying? I'm still on that, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, I just calmed down a little bit. I pick and choose my battles instead of going hard at everything. And, when I was going hard at school. So I think that saved my life, and just really just embracing, just being a businessman, just being a well-rounded young man, and just not, my biggest thing was just being right, man. And it's just like, bro, you can be right and still be in the wrong place and still get shot and killed. You could be right and still, you know what I'm saying, not get the things that you're fighting for. You could be in the court case and you can have all the facts and still not get to settlement because it's up to those 12 jurors. It's all about these different things. It's like, man, you gotta know how to play the game, man. And that's what breaking the machine is about. It's about, in order to break the machine, you gotta get in it. Because everybody who knows the matrix has to be broke from the inside. You can't penetrate from the outside. You got to get in. And that doesn't mean be a, you know what I'm saying, be a sellout or artisan. I bought into the system. No, it means I got to get in, and I got to make my moves, and I got to find those who in the machine who just like me. And man, I've been looking for you, man. That's what it's always been about. When I talk about breaking the machine, when I started to break the machine is when I learned that there was other people inside of the machine that was just like me. It's like, bro, everybody in the machine ain't a part of it. You know what I'm saying? You got people, OGs in the machine that's like, hey, man, I was looking for a youngster like you. I know I've been promoting this artist, and I've been doing this stuff, and I've been promoting these different things, but that's just because I had to get my money up, baby. I'm a product of my environment, but I've been looking for somebody like you who I can put my back and behind, and I can take you to the next level. I can do this, I can do that. And I didn't encounter so many people just like that, bro. Just like, bro, I've been waiting for somebody like you who's been pushing that movement. I've been waiting to get behind something like that. So it's just like, bro, I just had to get in there, bro. I had to get in the machine, man. And in order to do that, you got to embrace that combative energy, bro. Because if you combat and everything, and it's about you being right. If you look at the community, man, in the community, young Black men and women, it's always about being right. You know what I'm saying? I worked in the inner city schools for several years, man. It's all about being right. And I used to tell the young men, it's not about being right. I said, especially with your mama, especially with your authority. I said, your mama like Jesus Christ. You can't tell your mama what it is. Your mama like Jesus. She like, boy, I raised you. You ain't never gonna be right. But my mama did this. My mama did. Boy, listen, and you ain't never gonna be right with her. Just let it go. It's about bringing peace. And that's what I always say. Do you want to be right, or do you want to bring peace? You know what I'm saying? Because if you want to be right, you got to go through hell to do that. If you want to bring peace, it's about understanding what's right, but also understanding what brings peace. And let's just bring peace, baby. So that was kind of my realization. I just wanted to bring peace. I didn't want to be right no more. I wanted to bring peace.
Man, that's powerful, man. Well, listen, first and foremost, man, my condolences, man, to you, man, you know, for the transition of your father. When you reflect, man, you know, going through that, you know, because being 10 years old and, you know, losing your father, man, that's traumatic. And you talked about, you know, really having a lot of, you know, emotions and things like that, but bottled up and suppressing your emotions. man, you were grieving, during that time. And when you reflect to today, looking at your life, looking at, your father transitioning when he did, and then looking at, him coming to you, appearing to you in a dream and telling you, listen, bruh, if you don't do this, you're gonna lose your life. When you look back on it and you reflect on it, man, how do you make sense of that today?
Man, some things I feel like aren't meant to be understood. Some things are just meant to be felt. You know what I'm saying? And that's I was telling my little homie that I was telling him the other day, man. We was all sitting down and having lunch. Some of the young men that I mentor, and I was just telling them like, hey, man, they trying to ask me what's this, what's it, and I was just telling like, bro, I can't explain everything that I'm telling you. All the game that I give you, I can't always explain it, man. Sometimes it's just a feeling. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the elder will come up to you and say, hey, man, you got to leave her alone. I see you talking to Bashir. I'm like, what is it about? Man, I love, listen, it's an energy. He like, man, he can't even explain it. And even if he could, it's just like, bro, you wouldn't be as susceptible even if I had broke it all down. Yeah. I'm telling you, that ain't right. So I think what it was for me is I'm a very spiritual person, and I'm also a person of, I'm a person of energy, and I'm also a person of everything don't need to be explained, bro. So when that vision, how I saw it, or a dream was revealed to me, I just had to move because I knew what I was doing wasn't right. And I also am a person of everything that's revealed to me, God allowed it to be in my presence. So what does that say? You know what I'm saying? If that wasn't my father, God had to send a message through the image of my father so I would get it deeper.
So you had to get it right.
Well, not, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe that was my father, but it's like God's trying to give me a message, and he like, I needed to hit deep. I'm gonna send it in the presence of your father so it'll hit deep. It's me telling you, stop the mess, but I'm gonna send it to your father because I know you love your father. You're gonna listen to your father. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of that saying, how could you really love God who you've never seen, but you hate your brother who you see every day? It's of that ilk. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I know you love God, I know you, but I'm gonna send you somebody who I know it'll penetrate as soon as, because man, it's just one of those things, man. Sometimes you got to send a message to somebody that you really love. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it was big, what it was for me. It was just like he was trying to send me a message, and message was received, bro.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. It's like the old heads when they tell you, man, when you ask them something, they tell you just keep on living. Some things you have to experience, and be a part of yourself, so you can really feel the entire purpose of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, if I really try to explain it to you, it's not gonna make sense and it's not gonna hit the same. You know what I'm saying? Which would really be taken away from both of us, right? You know what I'm saying? Like for me, my mother passed away in 2020, and the heat in the height of the pandemic. And I remember, as that was happening, as that was unfolding, I was able to have a certain level of acceptance around my mother's transition, that freed me. And for a long time, after she had passed, I struggled with verbalizing that because of how that would be received. I could easily understand how somebody would hear me say that and receive like, well, you tell saying you happy your mom passed, and it's like, of course that's not the case. But what I am aware of is that her transition had to happen for me to to like start my own liberation and my own freedom. It wouldn't have happened without that part. And that's just something that I can't even always explain to people. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I have to hold that closely and give people a little bit. And if they get it, they get it. If they don't, maybe you catch me down the road. And if not, hey.
Man, that's so deep, man. And only those who understand will truly understand, bro. I don't even want to say you got to go through it to understand, but it's just like, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And it doesn't mean like, because I don't like when people be like, man, I'm only gonna help those who want help, because I want to, I be wanting to paint pictures for people. But some pictures, man, you have to see it at that gala. And when that gala is done, once, you know what I'm saying, it's from 9 to 5. And then after 5, man, it's done. You know what I'm saying? That was a one-time thing, man. You get some things you have to be there to experience. And I think, bro, people always ask, well, when I do interviews, they ask me, how different do they think, what do I think my life would be if my father was still present? And I say something, and I received something similar to exactly what you said. It's just like, man, I was a completely different person after my dad passed. My personality came out more. And I know he had dreams and aspirations for our family. He had dreams and aspirations for me. And I don't know if I would follow those dreams if he was present. Because anybody who, grew up with a father know your father's present, I don't want to say emasculates you, but it takes away a level of energy from you, because it's not needed. You know what I'm saying? There's certain levels that a human being is going to go to on a survival level, on an emotional level, all type of levels, when certain things are in a life. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be as aggressive. For the most part, you're not going to be as aggressive if your father's in your life as this other young man who ain't got a father in his life, because he has to make up that extra aggression for that loss of protection. So he has to, so it's a lot of different things that I've gained when my father passed away, because I was able to connect with a part of myself that I didn't know was there. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, like you said, it can't be explained in the best way to people. Like, no. I just see I'm seeing the answer. You know what I'm saying? When something tragic like that happens in your life, everybody wants answers. You know what I'm saying? Like, why did it? There's not really any good answers for mortals. You know what I'm saying? Because these are godly acts. Only God has control of life and death. So to try to put a godly understanding on a mortal mind, it's not gonna make sense. But we just picked up the small understandings. Like, hey man, it changed me for the better. Now I'm this way. You know what I'm saying? Now that is not a good enough answer for no mortal, nor is it for me. But it's good enough for the Most High, so I can accept that. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what it is, man. That's kind of what it is. We just got to see what the product of it was, and then that's the answer, man. That's the answer.
Well, so man, as I hear you speak, I'm specifically just thinking about the last 2 years of being in this global pandemic, being in this forced stillness, being in this quarantine, being in this, this historical place in history. Again, man, I just told you, my mother passed away at the beginning of the pandemic. I know for me, I had my first son in 2020. There was so much going on for me, man, where I just learned so much about myself. And as I hear you speaking, like, there's some things you just have to experience to be able to really be able to get the answers. And even if you don't have the answers, it's not necessarily even about finding the answer per se. So like for yourself, man, these last 2 years of this pandemic, what's some things that you really learned about yourself?
Man, what's interesting? I didn't really learn much the first year. The pandemic year, where it was really all that craziness, the riots, the coronavirus, the social, unrest, the civil unrest, all that. I didn't learn much new. You know what I'm saying? I learned that I need people. I was around that time. I was one of those believers in anti-socialness. I was just very anti-social. Not because it's just like I don't like people. I learned. I think it was the summer of 2020 or this past summer. Yeah, it was this past summer. So I learned a lot of lessons in 2021. Okay. And the lesson that I learned was that I suffered deeply with anxiety. And when I learned that, it was like one of the biggest discoveries of my life. And it was just crazy, because for the past, I say 6 years, I've dealt heavily with anxiety, and I didn't know it was just like a complete energy switch in my body. And the things that I would love to do, because I wasn't always antisocial. I loved to communicate. I was always outgoing. I really didn't have a meter of people's opinions stopping me from doing what I had to do, whether that's breaking out in song in public or whatever. Like, I was to that extreme. Like, I just did what I wanted to do. I didn't really care how, other people perceived it, as long as I wasn't hurting nobody. But I lost that. I lost my superpower, my ability to be able to be outwardly expressive. I lost that superpower, and I didn't know what that was about. and it was just anxiety. And I think it was just anxiety of loss of privacy. So, you know, when you're so outgoing and you're so out, you know, doing this, and I see celebrities experience it all the time when people know you, and then when you deal with a tragedy, you want to be private. But then when you just expressing yourself, you want to be public. So I dealt with that because I was so public, I was so communicative. And when I dealt with a tragedy in my life, I wanted to be private. Everybody was in my business. It was all over the news, you know, just different things that it was like a breach of privacy in my personal life. It really put me into a stage of anxiety. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that in 2021. I was just sitting down talking with my boy, one of my close friends, and we was just talking and talking. The more we talked and talked, it's crazy. It was really like a therapy session, and it was just like we getting in this and that. And every day we get deeper, and it was just like, no, it's not this, it's not this, and that. And then eventually, I forgot who I was listening to. I was listening to some video on YouTube, and they were talking about anxiety, and I was just like, dang, that might be me. So then I brought it to my homeboy, like, you know about anxiety? And he telling me about anxiety. I'm like, bro, I got anxiety, bro. I got anxiety, like, and I didn't know how to fight it at that time. Like, I was just happy to identify. I didn't know how to fight it. And then I had to go to this event. Like, I was real anxious about going to it. And I was just like, man, there's gonna be some people there, man, people with their perceptions. I don't even want to be there. But I made a commitment to go to this event. So I went because I'm a man of my word. Like I said, I was brought up on principle. So if I give my word, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna try to do it to the best of my ability. So I ended up going to the event, and just going to the event and facing a high level of anxiety, which I haven't done in 6 years. I haven't faced a high anxiety moment in 6 years. So, and just me being out around a complete group of people that I didn't know was the highest level. It was like an anxiety nightmare for me. And for me to go there and face it, and it was one of the coolest evenings I had in my life. I was just like, damn, this is what life is. Because I didn't experience this with so many different things in life. Like, it's scarier in your head than it is in reality. So then I was thinking like, dang, I'm thinking too much. And I don't know, something instantly clicked when I went after that event. Anxiety gone. I ain't felt it since the summer of 2021. So that's been like what, 6 months, 7 months. I haven't felt any anxiety, bro.
So hold on, time out. So I was gonna ask you, you know, how did you learn how to work through, and you know, how did you learn how to cope? And you telling me that after you essentially faced this fear, you know what I'm saying? You went through this situation, going to this event. You telling me the emotion of anxiety just went away and you haven't experienced it anymore. Talk to me a little bit about like what that process was. Did you do anything like to be intentional about prior? Like, okay, I'm going to, you know, maybe do some breath work when I get in here. I'm gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? What was your process when you know, as you going through this situation?
My process was don't throw up. My anxiety, my personal anxiety, it used to get to a certain level when I would go out or I do things like go on dates or something like that. I would always throw up before, you know, and I say this on my podcast, and it's obviously something that's very embarrassing and stuff, but I know a lot of people go through stuff like that, and they can't heal unless we reveal. So I got to reveal so everybody can heal. So it's like, you know, I would experience that. I would always throw up. That was my thing. And it would make me feel better so I could kind of deal with a situation. But I didn't throw up before the situation. I just went into it, and I was just like, man, I'm going to just get through it and do what I got to do, and just try not to speak too much, and just, you know, maintain my energy to the highest level. And it's all a science, man, because I'm reading this book, Sensitive People in the Insensitive World, and it breaks all of this down. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, dang, this is some real stuff. And so it's like, it literally details everything that I was experiencing. And it's just like, I'm like, dang, so this is a pattern. A lot of people go through this. I'm like, dang, it's deep. So before the event, I was just very anxious. But when I got there, just like calm down. And then it was just like, I also had to understand that my perception of myself is not people's perception of me. And then once you understand that, then you understand that you have to let go of everything. Because people, when I walk in the room, people don't see me for who I am. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, people like, man, you know, he's a motivational speaker. He do this, he do that. If I walk in any drugstore in America or in the hoods of America, I'm just a tall nigga with a hoodie on and a beanie, And it's just like, all right, what up, Nick? You know what I'm saying? They don't know what I do. They don't know my personality. I probably ain't gonna have a smile on my face, not just because I'm very, but it's just like, I gotta adjust for the environment. Let's be real. And it's like, man, yeah, he wanna, but you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I be thinking everybody know who I am in sense of like how vulnerable I am, how I feel, you know what I'm saying? All these different things, how insecure I am, but nobody knows nothing. So when I walk in, people really give me the respect as if like they don't know nothing about what's going on inside. And it's just like, dang, I had to really learn, like, people don't know what's going on inside. Even if I'm insecure, don't show, bro. Just like, it's the same with performing, same with me doing poetry, bro. If I lose my mind in the midst of doing some poetry, maintain your cool, because the crowd does not know you just messed up. The crowd does not know you scared. You look smooth to them, but in your mind, you like, damn, they know I messed up. You just gotta maintain your cool. So my thing was, it didn't take much in that event for me to do my switch up. And obviously that's not gonna be everybody's experience. But like I always said, before then, I was already outgoing. So this outgoing energy that was already in me. So it was just something blocking me from connecting to it. It's not like you face your biggest fear and then you become outgoing. I was already outgoing. My energy was blocked. It's like the chakras. My chakra was blocked. I unblocked my chakra so I could connect with my outgoing energy again. So that's kind of why it clicked so fast for me, because I was already that. I just had been in hiding for so long. And for me to face a head-on event like that, and just for it to see like it wasn't as extreme as I thought, it kind of reconnected me, you know what I'm saying? And all the chakras was fired, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I remember the one of the first times that I realized that like I suffer with anxiety. For me, my physical response was heart beating fast. I mean, I'm talking about on fire. Hands sweaty. My arms get sweaty, and I'm like what the hell is going on right now? Like, and I'm realizing my physical responses to it. That's when I was able to learn that that I'm having some type of physical response. Like I was anxious, I was nervous, I was afraid of something. But when I reflected back over my life, I always remember having experiences like being afraid in the situation, and sometimes it didn't even necessarily cause for any type of like real danger. But I felt that response going on, and I'm talking about later on in my life as an adult. I'm like, oh shit, I'm anxious right now, and I finally realized the physical response that's going on. And I think it's so important that you said that, man. Listen, it may have been an embarrassing situation, but I got to be able to share it, because man, there is somebody that's going to listen to this and be like, oh dang, like I have some of these same physical responses of mine, talking about like, oh damn, John, that's anxiety when your heart beating fast for no reason. You don't know what's going on. Man, these are the things, man, that like I'm sure man, and those closest conversations, those closest relationships that we have, man, brothers all around the country, man, going through this stuff, brothers all around the world going through these things, man. And it's, to have these type of conversations is so powerful.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, man. And I think one of the biggest things is kind of just like you said, man, I ain't never been scared in a real scary situation. It's always situation that ain't scary. It's also it's situation that ain't that deep that cause the most anxiety, bro. And I think that's the key to really overcoming them. Like, you know what I'm saying? A performance, or you got to do this, you got this piano recital, or, this thing that you got to do. And it's like, man, 15 minutes after this, man, I'm about to go back to my life as normal, and I'm about to relax, and I'm about to sip my coffee, and I'm about to do this. It's just those 15 minutes of that performance is so big to you, you can't even imagine life after. The key for me is always imagining life after this event, a life after this thing that's giving you so much anxiety. And then once you think about, like, I'm still be alive, I'm still be doing this, okay, let me do this. You know what I'm saying? And my biggest thing, and that really freed me up as well, is it's just like, man, I got people who love me regardless of what goes down. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if I embarrass myself, this go down. Because that was my biggest thing, especially with building a platform, getting bigger and bigger. It's just like, man, I don't want to do nothing that disappoint my family, embarrass my family. And I don't want to just, you know what I'm saying, say something crazy on the podcast or something like that. And I could truly never say nothing crazy, but it's just my own thoughts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like 85% of what normal podcasts talk about, who just talk about society and culture, I would have heart attacks, you know what I'm saying, going into the, being so loose at the mouth, like some people. But like those is my, so some of my nightmares is other people's reality. They just, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I said it. What? Like, I'd be like, dang, I'd be lit. And I respect some of those people. Like, dang, man, he just say what he want. Like, he don't really care. You know what I'm saying? You got to commend it a little bit. But I just think the biggest thing is understanding, like, bro, normally the anxiety is not triggered by real life situations like that's really scary, bro. It just be stuff in your head.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, John Morgan. Listen, man, right now, as y'all can see, man, I got on the new Live Your Purpose podcast merch, man. It's going crazy right now. The t-shirts, I got the dad hats. People always hit me up. John, man, where can I get it? How can I grab your stuff? You got a website, you got a site, you got a site. How can I grab it? I'm here to tell you, yes, we do have a site. All right, that site is www.lypp.org. O-R-G. Again, it's www.lypp.org. Go to that website right now, man. You can find you can find a link to the YouTube channel. You can find a link to the audio platform, but you also can find where you can shop and grab your merch right now. Again, man, check us out. We got the tees going crazy right now. The dad hats. Expect to see some new products on that site. Go right now, www.lypp.org. Again, man. A lot of y'all been hitting me up asking me about this link and this site. It's available. So do yourself a favor, go through, support, shop with your boy, spend some money with your boy. I know some of y'all still got that PPE money. Come spend some with your boy, man. Peace.
Man, you said you was talking about earlier about, you struggle with wanting to be right. And I can really, I can feel that, I not only struggle with wanting to be right, I struggle with wanting to have a sense of control. I grew up in a domestic violence household. And through seeing that, there was a lot of like moving from one place to the next, constantly getting my shit and having to go somewhere else and coming right back. So there was a lot of like things that were out of my control that, caused me to have trauma responses. So as I grew, and just doing my own healing and doing my own work, doing therapy and just like really practicing stillness, I was able to, really learn about, my wants for having control over situations. And it was really out of trying to protect myself and really trying to survive. And I've now learned, and it's still a struggle to this day. So it's not one of those things where I completely have worked through it. I find myself in different seasons and different levels of it. And I find myself sometimes with letting go of control and just accepting, no matter what happens, whether that's somebody say something I don't like, maybe I find myself in a situation I don't like, maybe I planned for something to go a certain way and it completely went out of my way. I now have trained myself to like have different responses. Like, you know what? It didn't go my way. It was supposed to happen that way. Accept it, breathe, connect to my body, feel it, allow it to be what it is going to be. And through that, it allows me to like, work through what's taking place.
No, absolutely, bro. And it's just like developing those techniques, bro. Everybody need to have those techniques, and everybody need a good friend that they can bounce off ideas to, bro. Everybody need that one person in their corner. And I feel like for a lot of people, we're that person, bro. So that's kind of what I always think, man. I always understand that, like, with this podcast, I try to make real impact, bro. I don't really just, we don't do it for the money, man, because it's so many faster ways to get into a lot of views in a viral moment. But it's really just about being that person in people's life that they can go to. You know what I'm saying?
Man, who was your earliest influence of somebody just, tapping into their creative side? Somebody who was really, doing things from an entrepreneurship standpoint. Was it the things that you seen growing up in the nation? Like where were you influenced at early on that side?
Well, entrepreneurship and creativity, I would say creativity probably came from my mom. She pretty much taught us everything because I was homeschooled for a long time, up until I was probably in third grade. So she taught us how to bake, taught us how to cook, taught us how to play the flute. We did gymnastics. We did everything. She taught me how to draw. So it's just like, you know, she kind of helped me with my creative side. I love classical music because of her. You know, I didn't grow up listening to rap music. I say that a lot on the podcast. I'm kind of behind on, you know, hip hop history. I'm not a hip hop aficionado. I love hip hop like everybody else, but I'm more deeper into the classical genre. So that's because of her. You know, I just started playing the piano I've been playing the piano all my life, but I never really knew how to do it. I just played what sound good. But now I'm actually taking lessons. I just started doing that like, you know, 5-6 months ago. So, you know, that's because of her, you know, because of those different things that, you know, I was growing up, and it was just a seed that was planted in my brain. So, you know, she kind of, you know, nurtured the artistic side in my brain. Plus she writes poetry, and, you know, I do poetry now. So, and my dad kind of was the entrepreneurial side. You know, he had his own, construction company. So, you know, he was like my first example of an actual entrepreneur. And now that I think about it, it's crazy. I never really thought about this until I just thought about it now. His construction company was called The Matrix, which is crazy. Which is crazy. The Matrix Construction, which is crazy as hell. I'm had to sit back after this interview and analyze it. I never really thought about that until just now. I know it was his favorite movie, but that's different. I never thought about that. But it was called The Matrix Construction. And you know, it kind of got me that entrepreneurial mindset because, you know, he was working for himself. But one of my mentors, a brother by the name of Cameron, he recently passed away like about 4 weeks ago of COVID. I talked about it on the podcast. He was probably one of my biggest inspirations. In an after school program that I had at my school, this lady named Miss Rosie, we had like an entrepreneurial class, and she was just like, yeah, find something that you can do and make a whole bunch of money, and, you know, something that everybody needs. So then I went to my brother Cameron, and I was just asking him like, can we do an entrepreneurial segment? Because I was in something called Junior FOI at the same time, you know, at the time. You know, everybody know about the FOI, but then it's a Junior FOI class for the younger brothers. And I was younger at the time. And he was just like, okay. He was giving us a list of stuff that we could do. And I was just like, he was like, what is something that everybody needs? Everybody needs it. And, you know, he was like, it's really got to be real cost efficient. You can make it easy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, toilet paper. He like, brother, you know how to make toilet paper? I'm like, nah. He like, find me something else. And I kept doing stuff. He said, nah, just finding them. And then one of the brothers said, escalators. Everybody need, you know, it does, you know, be on the escalator. He's like, brother, yeah. And then I was like, lotion. Everybody use lotion. And he was like, find out how to make lotion. So I actually know how to make lotion from scratch, man. I know I can make like 6 different variants of lotion. That's something people don't know about me. Like, that was my first entrepreneurial endeavor. I had a company called The Therapy Guys. I still got the commercial for it and everything. And I use Animoto to make the commercial. I don't even know if people use Animoto anymore. It's kind of just like an animated slideshow. But I had a lotion company, and I would just go door to door with a duffel bag, whole bunch of lotion stuff in a duffel bag. It had, you know, I labeled it, packaged it, all this stuff. I would just go door to door because, you know, the brothers would go door to door. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I took that mindset and took it to, you know, the entrepreneurial route, and I was getting it off. I was making a lot of money, but I needed somebody to guide me at that time. You know what I'm saying? My father had already passed away. My mom was working a job, you know, taking care of the family. I needed somebody to guide my money. I was getting so much money, but I was spending so much money. So I wasn't really re-upping. I wasn't doing the things that I need to do. I only sustained it for about a year, I'll say. And then I kind of fell loose because I wasn't really good at keeping my money and really just like reinvesting. Like they say you should reinvest 30% back into the business. And I wasn't really consistent on that. It was kind of like I would make a whole bunch of money, keep a little bit, and then I come up short, ask my mom for a little bit of money. I need more bottles, man. You know, just nothing like that. And it was just like, man, I'm really just getting it off for myself and then relying on other people to keep the machine going. So, but that was kind of my introduction into entrepreneurship and just expanding my mind. And then I just love information, bro. I love when people would come to me and just tell me different things that I felt like nobody knew. Like, you know, people love when you tell them a secret, when they feel like it's a secret. You know what I'm saying? When you giving somebody information, but when you tell them a secret, it's like, oh crap, everybody don't know this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even with stocks, you know what I'm saying? That's why, you know, these boys, they love Reddit, because in them Reddit groups, they be throwing so many gems on stocks, like, oh, people don't know this about to hit. You know, everybody love a secret. So I would just scour the internet for gems, secrets. You know what I'm saying? The OGs, stuff that you got to open the crates for. And that's kind of how the ancestral plane was born on another way. But it was also like I was at one of the local high schools in Flint, because that's where I'm from. And it was a local presenter. I don't know what his name was, but he came to school and he was talking about this website called shapeways.com. And he was talking about how he made 6 figures off of 3D printed items. And he was just talking about like, man, it's going to be revolutionary. This was like 10 years ago, bro. So mind you, people not really that hip on 3D printed different things and stuff like that. And I'm seeing people do it heavy now. I'm talking about, he was talking about it then. And he was like, listen, it's a whole marketplace like eBay, except you upload a 3D model. This company makes whatever you want. So they make a 3D coffee mug. They'll make a laptop case. They make a phone case. They'll make a USB port. They'll make a lamp. They'll make whatever you can 3D design and put the schematics in for. They can 3D design it and you can sell it. And all you do is make profit. It don't cost you nothing. Unless you want to like hire a graphic designer to actually make sure what you create is exactly like you want it and envisioned it. And that got me. So I was doing that all day, looking up videos. How do I design these things on shapeways.com? How do I do this? How do I do that? So anytime I would get, information and different things, I would just go so into it. So I think that was the biggest thing for me, So when I fast forward, when I went off to college, I always was, when I left class, I would come home and I would get on YouTube and learn how to do things. How do I grow Instagram pages? How do I edit video? I learned how to edit video professionally because I was working for different sports companies on different social media pages, and I wanted to do little mixes, but I wanted my mixes to be like the Score, which is a social media a sports platform, or the Bleacher Report. I wanted my stuff to be professional. Like these mixes, I didn't want it to look like one of these other pages did the mix. I wanted to look like, them NBA boys did it, you know what I'm saying? Because they got those NBA trailers before the game come on, that Christmas game, they got the trailer before. I wanted to do stuff like that. So I was on YouTube. So I downloaded Adobe Creative Cloud, learned how to use Premiere Pro, learning how to use Photoshop, learning how to use all these different things because I wanted to increase my value. So by the time I got into my junior year, anytime I would reach out to a company, I had something to show them. I had a portfolio. I'd be like, listen, I'm not just somebody who can manage pages. I can do this for you. I can do that for you. I know how to, create these videos. You send it to me. I can put take the head off of this person and put you on this character in this movie. I can do this. I can blur out the background. I can, put this. I'll do all of it and increase my value. And I had amassed all these skills, and I was just doing it for other people. And eventually, I was just like, hey, I'm tired of this. It's not fun anymore. I didn't, anybody who's moving and shaking, people gonna make you promises, man. You moving and shaking in any industry, people gonna make you promises. I'm like, you just show, bro. I done had 1 million shows offered to me, 3 book deals, this, that, man. And you know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's why I love people of their word, man. Because a lot of people say a lot of words. And I think the biggest thing for me was just to constantly just lock in and do what I had to do in order to like truly execute. So I created the ancestral plane and I put everything that I learned out on the outside into my own thing. And then, I hit the ground running. And for the longest, I wanted to be private. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to put my face on it. I didn't want people to know who created it. I didn't want to do none of that. And that was my piece. You know what I'm saying? That's why I never go live on the page and stuff like that. I rarely go live on it now because it just give me anxiety. I don't know if it give me anxiety. It's just like, I don't like, people in my business. But it hit to a certain point where I was just like, listen, I put one video out, and the first video out, it did good. And then I had like NBA people, because I was in the sports world. So that meant a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? Like when KD following me and Carmelo Anthony and Kyrie Irving and everybody, like when I started seeing that, I was like, man, it's big. So I put my first video out on my personal page, and all these people was commenting on it like, hey, man, this is powerful, man. You dropping gems. And one of the biggest things, I forgot who was telling me this. Somebody was telling me, I think it was either Wallow or one of my other OGs. He was telling me like, man, your platform is going to truly be powerful when you can put anybody up on there, not celebrity, and it'll go. That's when you know you got impact. And I was like, dang, right, because all I do is put celebrity. So let me test it. Let me put me up there. and then it would do okay, and then it would do okay. And I think about the third video, it went stupid viral, man. It was on Ricky Smiley. It was Common reposted it. Racify9 reposted it, which got me all of my Detroit love. You know what I'm saying? It really changed everything for me in terms of just like stuff that I could feel. For him to post me, it gave me like the most effect because that's people from my state, that's people from my city, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, so all these people was reposting it. DJ Battlecat, I'm talking about Willie D Live, all these people was reposting it, bro. And that was my moment. And then obviously I had other moments, viral moments, but I was just like, dang, I finally reached that point. I can put anybody up on here because I put me and I ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying? I'm a person, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, and I ain't no celebrity or nothing. And I put myself up on here and it go like that. It go stupid viral like that. It's over here. I'm like, okay, I might have something here. Cause he's like, man, listen, you got something powerful, but you know you really gotta miss it. If you can put anybody up on there and anybody go. So me creating Breaking the Machine was really just a brainchild of the Ancestral plan. Like, okay. Every time, it was birthed to so many things. It was a perfect storm. Because I would always put these videos up on my pages, man, and it's like 30, 40 pages, maybe 50, 60 pages out there on Instagram that impersonate my page to the T. Impersonate me to the T. I put up this post, then the next day, that same interview is on every major page. Cultural, matter of fact, I don't want to name drop nobody. Listen, I love all of y'all. So the next day, all these platforms, it happens every time. If I put up an interview of Dame Dash right now, tomorrow you will see that same Dame Dash interview on every page who posts gems. You will see it on every page. And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? And then there's some pages who literally take my post off, put them up on their page, and put their tag over mine. And that frustration happened over years and years. Now I don't really care since, the platform is so big. It's just like, I really don't care. Plus, my followers is just gonna tag me anyway. Like when Kanye reposted my that post that I put up a Prince, because I don't think Kanye posted on his page for like a year, maybe 2 years. And then the first post that he put up since his absence was that post of Prince when he was talking about ownership and like why he doesn't want to deal with lawyers and all these different things. And I was like, dang, I didn't even know he posted it up. But so many of my fans was tagging me, like, tag. And I was like, dang, man, he tagging. So then I posted up on my page, and I was like, hey, and that was the first time I ever did that. I didn't did it multiple times since, but that was the first time I just screenshotted it. And I ain't hate on you know what I'm saying? It's all love, you know what I'm saying? It was Prince's words anyway, so I really don't care. But I was just like, hey, y'all, all my supporters, y'all go tag me on the post. You know what I'm saying? And I had like maybe 3,000 of my followers going there and just tag like spamming the tag, spamming the comments. And I'm like, it just feels good to have like an army of people who just really like show love for positivity, man. And I didn't want nothing. I didn't want them to tag me. I just wanted just to like see if they rock with me like that. So it's a beautiful thing. Like with anything, man, when people support, you know what I'm saying? So Breaking the Machine was kind of just like, can we create value from people that maybe not everybody knows? Can we do it? So when I did it and I structured it the same way, it went. It's going, it viral, boom, boom, everybody loving it. And it was like, wow, this is powerful. And the biggest thing is, the biggest rebuttal that people give me when they take my stuff from the Ancestral plane is, you ain't say this, or this ain't yours. So when I do it on my stuff, with my podcast, I had to get all the business right. Like, if y'all do this thing, repost my stuff, you don't tag me, I'm going to be like Vlad TV. Because anybody who's ever reposted Vlad TV stuff, know they real strict about that copyright stuff. Like, dog, yeah, now I got it. Now you can't tell me, hey, man, this is mine. Now you better tag me or this. So it's a beautiful feeling because now it's just like, man, it's only hot because he said, no, it's hot because of what we did, the community that we created. That's why it's hot. You know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing, man.
I got so many questions, man. Like, I want to start, listen, as you moving and shaking, as you describe it, working in corporate America, doing things in the sports world, was your mind always focused on eventually transitioning into doing your own? And if it wasn't, what gave you the confidence to say, man, because you spoke on increasing your value, so what gave you the confidence to say, you know what, I know the skills and the value that I bring to these companies. I'm going to shift that energy, and shift my action towards not on creating my own, but really continue to build up my value in what I'm doing?
Man, I'm a God. I'm gonna say that first and foremost. But I'm gonna just say this: I'm a dog. Okay, for lack of better, for that real talk. You know what I'm saying? That's what they call it, real talk. So let's just talk real. I'm a dog, man, and that's why I always could come to a company and really let them know my value, because I know whatever you tell me I got to do to get this job, to get this internship, and it don't go against my character. It's like when I was working for PR, when I was doing public relations, right? And I remember the dude that I would reach out to him all the time. He my homie to this day, man. Look out for me, do everything, man. We're gonna talk about that later. But I'm reaching out to him every day on Instagram, like, hey bro, how can I work for you? How can I work for you? Because I was one of those dudes, but not to the point where I'm in your comments and I'm just like, hey, check your DM, bro. And then I'm DM you trying to get in touch with you. I know the movers and shakers, bro. And when you've been in this lane of social media for so long, I know people. Like, I know people who run the platforms that people want to know, because I didn't been on stuff since I was 10th grade, 10th, 11th grade of high school. So I done been in this for about 6-7 years. So I know what it looked like. I know who was running that platform before it came. I know the names of these people. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember when they were small. You know what I'm saying? Some of the biggest high school athletes I remember when they was at 100 followers, because I was in the sports space and I was in it to the point where I was following the small dudes. I was getting the small. So it's just, I see it in a different way. But the biggest thing about me was when I was trying to get that job at that public publicist company, I was asking him, I was just like, what do I have to do? He like, man, listen, I got a whole bunch of articles I have to get out for these artists. Listen, I need like 25 articles done by the end of the day, which is impossible. And I love when people give me impossible tasks, because I know when I do it, you'll never question me again. So I was just like, okay, I know, because not only do you have to do the articles, each article has to be different, because that you do 6 articles per artist and they all go into different publications. So you have to do the same article, but do it in a completely different variation. So if it's in this magazine and this magazine, they don't know it came from the same person. I'm giving you the behind the scenes of the publicist world, man. Just because this journalist posted this article in this publication does not mean that journalist wrote that article. It's usually a PR firm sends the article to the publication and just say, hey man, I need you to put this out for my artist, blah blah blah. Oh, this is the next big artist. He did, and somebody at the publishing agency wrote it, and then the journalist just checked it over and said, okay, I'll put this out. And he gets his money on the back, all that other stuff. Anyway, but you have to write the same article in 6 different variations, so you go on 6 different publications. So if he says I need 10 articles done, I need some articles done for 10 different artists, and I have to do it, it's really 10 times 6. So I'm doing it, and I'm doing all these different things. So at the time, he needed about 25 articles done, and it was like impossible because I had to do different variations. I was already in college full time, taking 5 classes, working a real job, doing this, doing that. This was just an internship I was doing, and I'm like, it's impossible for me to get 25 articles done by the end of the day, bro. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough creative energy. I don't have enough. But he knows it's impossible. That's why he put that on my plate, because he don't think I can do it. He trying to get rid of me because I'm bugging him. Next day, it was all in his email. And he ain't never questioned me since then. Ain't never questioned me again. And that's what I hold to my spirit. When I reach out to somebody and I tap in with them, I reach out because I know I will do what other people aren't willing to do. I will sacrifice whatever I got to sacrifice. I get the job done. That's why I say I'm a dog. That's what I always say about college. What college does, it's just like, man, show me where the dog's at. Show me where my dog's at. That's all it does. It's all college does is show the employer where the dog's at. Because we all go through tragedy. We all lose family members. We all go through financial trauma. We go through real trauma. We all go through situations, emotional relationships, all these different things. Have you ever done all those things, maintain a job to keep the bills on, or pay your apartment rent, take 5 classes and 2 internships at the same time? That's what's going to show them that you're a dog, because you're going through all the ups and downs of life. You're working a job like a normal person. You're sustaining yourself like a normal person. You're trying to keep your mind right. And you taking 5 classes on top of trying to go to all these mixers on campus, and you doing this internship over here. Like, he's a dog. And if you can do that for 4 years and get your degree, that don't tell him nothing about you, but that you a dog, and you willing to sacrifice your own personal health. You willing to sacrifice everything. that to sustain yourself for the upset goal, and that's what it's gonna tell them about you. So my whole thing was I had pride in that for the longest. Like, man, I'm a dog, and I still have pride in it because if you need something done, man, I'm gonna do it. Like, for real, bro. Like, if it got to get done, I'm gonna do it. So that was my thing. Like, you know, when I was in an internship, bro, I always outworked everybody, and it wasn't like my design. It was just I gotta show you, like, I'm different, man. Now I don't really have put that energy into showing people I'm different because the work shows. But in those days when you ain't got no work to show for you, it's just like, man, listen, man, I got to get my resume up, man. I got to show something. Give me some work so I can show you. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, man. Like, I had to, you know, gain my value. And then I was bold with it after a while because I was like, man, listen, I bring value and I get the job done, man. You know what I'm saying?
So how did that turn into creating your own? You know, how did it go from, you know, I'm showing my worth here. They know my worth. They can't question me. And you know what? F it. I'm stepping away and I'm going to create my own. How did that happen?
Man, I like I said, I had a million promises made to me, and you know, I didn't receive any of them. I'm hearing a million promises, and some of those people who made me promises came through, and I respect that. But for the most part,
so it was the letdown. It was a letdown of everybody in that, you know, in that corporate space.
Yeah, it was the letdown, bro. It was the letdown. And when I was doing the social media pages, I was just getting bored of it. It was tiring, you know. It was just like a slow period. And I think the slow period happens when your creative energy goes out. You can no longer produce, and the results can't manifest as fast as they were when you're creative. And people know when they're not creative anymore because the results ain't the same. So for me, it was, how do I get my creative energy back? So then I started posting these motivational videos on the Ancestral plane. And like I said, when I posted my first video, Brother Rizza Islam posted it, and I had got like 200 followers off the first video. And I was like, dang, I ain't never got 200 followers in a day. This is crazy. And I was like, I might have something here. So then I just kept posting. It was just a side thing. I was just doing on the side, doing my sports pages. And within a month, maybe 2 months, it was bigger than any page I had managed. Grew. It was at like, what, 17,000. It was growing fast, man, like 2 months. And I was just like, forget this. I'm gonna focus on this. I don't even know what this is. I don't know how to make money with this. I don't know what this is. But whatever it is, it's touching people. You know what I'm saying? So let me do this. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about social media. Can't nobody teach you how to monetize your social media. You just got to figure out what works for you, like how you can finesse it. Everybody be, man, you know, if you're an influencer, you got 1 million followers, you can charge a company $100,000 for each post. Man, who reaching out to? Who reaching out to you? You know what I'm saying? Because these small black businesses, bro, they don't want to play no 100,000, man. They don't care if you got 10 million. They ain't paying no 100,000. So who is your audience, man? My audience is the people. My audience is the poor righteous teachers. My audience is the community. My audience is people who have money. My audience is people who don't have money. So I have to accommodate all of my people. And I also have to understand, man, the truth comes first. The mission comes first. Because like I said, I didn't know how I was going to make money off of the Ancestral plane, how I'm about to make money off the podcast, but I know the goal and I know my passion and my purpose. If I go with my passion and my purpose, the money will come. And the more I tap in with more affluent people and more successful people than me, they tell me the same thing. Stick with that. And that's what we doing.
How old are you?
22. I'm actually about to turn 23. So I've been telling people 23, but I'm 22.
So I heard you say on a podcast, you said, man, I ain't study for no SAT, you know, and I still got a high score. I just knew that before I went to go take it, I told myself that I'm a God. And that relieved any anxiety or anything that I needed because I knew, you know, my sense of self before I went to go take that mug. When I asked you, where did that confidence come? You said, well, number one, I'm a God. And to hear a young man speak and that type of, you know, frequency, you know, and that type of power, man, that is very valuable. And that is, you know, not only is it powerful, man, but it is it's special, you know. And I wonder, like, you 22, so you've come up in the social media era, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I like having conversations with young brothers like yourself, man, because y'all know that these man-made rules is fake. Y'all know y'all don't have to follow the same status quo to not only to not make a living, but man, y'all don't have to rely on these people to feed y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I commend you. I commend you so much for for having that strong sense of self, from doing that. So like, how have you found ways to like monetize your platforms, or is it just still a situation where that's not even your focus? You are just growing and building it, and then through there you build healthy relationships, and then you just gonna continue to figure out as you go.
Yeah, I think it's both. It's like it's continuing to grow, it's continuing to move, and some periods are better than others. You know what I'm saying? Some periods are very good, some periods are not so good. But the mission stays the same. The above said goal stays the same. And we have to put out a product. You know what I'm saying? And right now my product is the podcast. So whatever needs to be done, that podcast will drop every Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's kind of the above said. I don't care what's going on in life. That is going to get done. That's going to get accomplished. So that's just my mindset. You know what I'm saying? And you have to have that mindset in order to constantly keep it out. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I think the biggest ways in order to monetize my platform that I found, like I said, it's gonna be different for every person, was just actually creating the website. And I remember Wallo was telling me that like a year and a half ago or something like that. He was just like, listen, man, number one thing, you got to get your website, you got to get your LLC, you got to do all these different things. And then when I started doing that, I started doing like consulting for actually teaching people how to grow their social media presence. So it's usually just like local people who know me, who know my platform. They reach out to me, hey, can you teach me how to monetize my platform, how to grow my stuff? All right, I'll pay you X amount of dollars just to teach me how to do it and then promote me on your platform, because most of the people who I promote are Black-owned businesses, and it's just like, oh, it's a perfect balance. So if you have a clothing business, you have a shea butter business, okay, so it's really just word of mouth in my city, people who know what I do. And I might put up a post or something like that, and then other Black businesses reach out to do it like that. But I have clothing on my website as well that does well and stuff like that. But like I said, it fluctuates. Some months is better than other months. But then I have clothing for that. And then it's really just about getting creative with it. Like I said, once I started speaking and I started personally working on my own brand, that's when I started getting booked for speaking engagements and different things like that. And people reaching out, and most of that stuff is local. Just, people just reach out. Okay, so what is the accommodation that you need in order to speak here? What is the accommodation that you need to speak there? The biggest speaking engagement so far, because I had only really spoken in Detroit and in Flint for the most part. And then I had got booked to speak out at the HBCU, North Carolina Central University, back in September. So that was huge. Or I think it was October. Yeah, October. But so that was huge. So it just keep going. It just keep going. But it's like the more opportunities come, the more videos you put out, and it's powerful. Like you put out a video, it go viral, and now you got this going on. Then you put out another video, and this going on. So it's just like people don't understand that is value. Like, man, why you putting out video? Man, you don't understand the game, man. Like Rollo be breaking down a lot of people in general just be breaking down the game to me, but you have to have an OG or somebody who's in that lane, a lane that's similar, and they can tell you what it looks like. Man, this video ain't just a video. To the normal person watching it, it is a video, but to other people, this is your resume. Like people watching this stuff, and this college person who's in this college campus over all this stuff is watching that. He like, hey man, I need you to do this. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have people reach out for foundations, all type of stuff. I want you to speak to my students on a Zoom call. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. That's what the video is. The video is what created that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Any conversation that I've had with anybody has been created from a video of me, and it's a self-resume. So like you said, it's about learning how to use social media. I don't use LinkedIn. I've never used LinkedIn ever in my life, but I've connected with more people than I could ever imagine through Instagram and Facebook. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's like, bro, LinkedIn don't exist no more, bro. I can tell somebody how to tap in with the person that they want to tap in straight off of Instagram, bro. And it's such a powerful tool, bro. So you're right, man. We using these platforms in order to break that, you know, that old way of doing things. And it doesn't mean it's the wrong way, or it doesn't mean it's the outdated way. It's more ways now. It's more ways.
More options, right?
More options.
Yeah, man. Shout out Wallow, man. I love Wallow, bro. I love seeing what Wallow does on the day-to-day, man. Wallow is not only just creative in his content, but Wallow is one of them dudes, man, who gives the information. And he does it, and he does it in a way where not only it's entertaining, but I'm talking about he breaks down the game. And what you're talking about right now, man, is really the digital, you know, the digital real estate side of, you know, monetizing off these platforms. Who inspires you, man? And where do you find inspiration from?
I say the biggest thing that inspires me, I'm inspired by a lot of people, man. Wallow 267 is one of the biggest inspirations, man, just because I just like the way he structures his content, man. But it's a whole bunch of people who inspire me, bro. I'm inspired by so many people, man. I just don't follow that many people, but I'm inspired by a lot of people. I'm inspired by artists, bro. I'm inspired by Pharrell, man. I'm inspired by Pusha T, man. I grew up listening to Pusha T, man. It's just a lot of people who inspire me, but it's music inspires me in general. It's just like when you hear that, it just makes you feel like you're the man. It's just like, man, like when I you know what I'm saying? Like when I ride around listening to Daytona by Pusha T, it just give me a vibe. You know what I'm saying?
That's different. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I listen to that, it's just like, baby.
I see how you making your face right now. You feeling it on you right now.
You know what I'm saying? When I listen to that Pusha T, man, and I'm just riding around the city, like everything inspires me. Imagery inspires me, bro. Like when I watch BMF, bro, I just started watching BMF. I'm late to it. I just started watching BMF like last week. I just finished the series, bro.
Okay.
Then I just pulled up and I just went in downtown Detroit, and I'm just walking down. I'm just like, bro, this is my city, bro. I'm about to run this, bro. I told Spank, bro, since the first time we started, bro, and this is the first time me saying this on the podcast. I was just like, bro, I want us to be to Detroit what Wallow and Gilly is to Philly, bro. Like that's my blueprint. Like literally, that is what we did this for, man. Like, and that's kind of the energy that was my blueprint. Wallow and Gilly for this whole podcast, for everything I'm doing. I'm just like, bro, I want to be that for Detroit, bro. I want to be that for my hometown, Flint, Michigan. I want to be that. I want to be able to walk around the city, and I don't want to have to be famous. Like, oh yeah, he get money. I just want him to be like, man, he's spreading positive, man. I like what he do, man. I like his energy, bro. Because I don't want everyone to be where you want what I have, but you just want to have a conversation with me. That means more to me than anything. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was the biggest thing, man. But my biggest inspiration is classical music, bro. When I listen to these classical music scores, bro, it sends me in a place of creativity, bro. Like, and it just really replenishes me, bro. Like, I need a room with complete darkness or very dark and play some very high vibrational classical music. And I'm telling you, some creative thing is going to be birthed, bro. Like when I just, bro, I don't know, something about that music, bro. Like I love incorporating new classical scores into my clips on Breaking the Machine. It just gives it a new life. It's like a new life. I have to constantly do it every couple months. I have to just go into the vote and just get a different score and put it on it, and it gives me a new life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that score that I put to the one with Mama Soul, the new one that she was doing. She was doing the poetry, and I was like, dang, I ain't never put this music on a clip before, but I wonder if it would hit. I put that, man, it's one of the biggest clips on the page. It's just like, yes, it's just like an Instagram, like the vibrations in the classical music is so high, bro. That gives me so much inspiration, bro. Classical music is my inspiration, bro.
That's powerful, man. That's powerful, man. I heard you say in one of your episodes, man, you was talking to David McCullough, and you was talking about, man, how going to Inception, you know, really impacted you. You know what I'm saying? It had an extreme positive impact on you. And man, here at Live Your Purpose, man, I really try to be intentional about talking to people about their own healing and their own journeys of healing. What was that experience at Inception like? And like, what's ways that, you know, you try to be intentional about, you know, your own healing and, you know, really trying to be intentional about your own internal work?
the trip to Inception was very powerful. You know what I'm saying? And for him to reach out to me and just extend the hand to me and just help me on my journey. And you know what I'm saying? Let me use the facility was powerful, man. And that level of stillness in the float tank, man, I think that was probably one of the most powerful moments I've ever experienced just with myself, because I was so paranoid at the time. And we talked about it afterwards, because we went out to eat afterwards, and I was just telling him, like, bro, I'm so paranoid, bro. Like, I'm this, that. And David, man, he like a real mentor to me, bro. Like, he like a big brother for real. Like, and
yeah, shout out Dave, man. Dave a
yeah,
good dude, man.
Dave, bro. And he just says a lot of stuff that a lot of people ain't never put in perspective. And he just be like saying some stuff. I'm just like, dang, man, ain't nobody ever said that to me, bro. Like, it's just powerful, man. And he said it in a way that doesn't come off offensive, but he does touch on a lot of things that, like, you may hold dear and be close to your heart. And it's just like, man, can't nobody stop. This is my backbone. And he just like, well, have you ever looked at it like this? And it's just like, damn, man, ain't nobody ever questioned my backbone, because normally in certain situations, that's like, okay, you got to respect that. That's what. But he just touched on something, and it's just like, man, this might be giving you trauma. Like, this might be, and it's like, man, that's giving me trauma. Like, he was just identifying like that. The conversation that I had with him was just powerful, man. Like, the experience of experiencing deception was powerful, but the conversation with him was just like, it was powerful, man. It was on another level. And I think now that I think about it, he was the one that helped me identify that I had anxiety. And then I talked to my friend about it afterwards, and then we kind of expanded it. But David, I think, was actually the one who helped me identify my anxiety, actually. He was the one. And when he told me, like, man, sounds like you got anxiety, I was like, man, I don't know about it. And he was just like, man, look this up, watch this video, man. And I'm just watching it. So he kind of helped me identify that I had anxiety. And the conversation that he was having with me, and I was telling him, like, I'm about to go to this event. And he was just like, man, go. Just go to the event. And then when I broke the anxiety, I was telling him, like, man, yo, like, I'm free now. Like, this is free. And he was like, man, congratulations, man. You just started on your first step of this journey. Now let's keep going. And I was like, man, like, bro, the facility is beautiful. The spirit of the facility is beautiful. The people there are beautiful. The environment is so beautiful. It's like some futuristic type stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some stuff that you see, like, I don't know if you've seen Swan Song by Mahershala, the movie that Mahershala Ali just put out, Swan Song. It got that Swan Song feel, man, that futuristic stuff in the mountains, and you in the, you know what I'm saying, that futuristic condo with the white wall. Like, it's a nice facility, bro. And I'm just very visual like that, man. I'm a very visual person, man. I just love like a nice aesthetic, bro. And I just think that it's just a powerful experience. I recommend, you know, anybody who's on a spiritual journey to definitely take a trip down to Inception, man, and just, you know, start on a journey, man. And you can start on your journey now, but I think it's a beautiful, beautiful experience. And I think that was the biggest thing, just going there and then having a conversation about what is going on, because I had so much things in me, and for him to break it down to me and just let me know, like, man, you got anxiety. And for him to relate to some of my stories, and just, it was changed my life, man.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. I went to my wife and I visited Inception back in October of last year, and I've been a big advocate for meditation and just stillness in general, and through doing the float tank and the brain training, you know, that stillness is on another level. You know what I'm saying? That's a type of stillness that, you know, we all should be intentional about practicing, you know. And what they doing over there at Inception, man, is powerful. And listen, man, I encourage you, man, is to, you know, continue to be intentional about doing things, you know, to increase your healing, man, because it's a never ending, you know, road. You know what I'm saying? There is no completion in healing. You know what I'm saying? For those who tell you that they figured it out and they done healing, they lying. You know what I'm saying? So kudos, man, and I commend you for what you're doing, man. I love breaking the machine. You know, the first episode was called The Matrix. You know, and it's interesting you said, man, your pop's construction company was called The Matrix. So I love all the work you're doing. I love the ancestral pain, man. I really got a found, you know, appreciation for the work that you're doing, man. And I just want to say thank you, man, for coming on here with me today, bro. This has been a fantastic conversation, bro, for sure.
I appreciate it, man. This is an honor, bro. to be able to meet up with like-minded people, man, and just have these conversations touch the community, bro. And the way I look at it all the time, and this is what I always tell people, man, a couple years from now, man, we could be the biggest in the space. You know what I'm saying? We could be the biggest in the space. You over here, you over here. And I've seen it happen. Like I said, I was in this, in the social media space, and I see people before they blow up. So, like, I already know how this is, man. This is the meeting of the minds. And you know what I'm saying? 100,000 supporters later, it's just like, yeah, man, we did that. You know what I'm saying? This is the OG interview, man. This interview might be legendary one day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
It's just
Facts,
like, bro, like, it's a beautiful thing, man. That's what I always think, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a blessing, man. And I appreciate you having me on. I hope we do this more, bro. And we really just gotta do an episode one day and just really just break down, go deep into the mental health, man, and just break down these traumatic stories and just how we healed them, man. It's a big thing, man.
Yeah, man. When I next time I come out that way, man, in Detroit, man, I want to sit down with you and Spank, man, and let's do this again in person. You know what I'm saying? I want to sit down with both of y'all and build with y'all, man, because again, man, I love the work that y'all doing. You know, I love the podcast that y'all got going with Breaking the Machine. So next time I'm in Detroit, man, let's sit down, let's carve out some time and really do this in person for sure.
Let's do it.
Well, yeah, man. Well, listen, thank you again for coming, man. Before I get you out of here, bro, I got a couple, rapid questions I want to hit you with. You know, we'll let you slide, man, and continue the rest of your day. First things first, bro. We in a brand new year, 2022. I'm not a big believer in New Year's resolutions, but I do believe in setting intentions. And, people always hear me using that word, intentions. What's some things that you really want to be intentional about this year, whether that's just spiritually, personally, professionally? What's some things you really want to be intentional about?
I just think something I want to be intentional about is just speaking up for myself. I think that's the biggest thing, man. Just, making sure my communication comes, clearer, man. And I think, what held us back in the past was just constantly thinking about how it's going to affect this, affect that, man. But it always falls through if you don't just communicate first. So communication is key, man. Just got to be communicative, bro.
Yeah, that's good, man. What's speaking of that, man, what's something that you what's something that you really want to just work on? Like, what's a weakness that you may see of yours that you want to just like, what? That's something I want to grow at. Is it speaking up for yourself? Is it advocating for yourself?
I think that's definitely one of them. Speaking up for myself, and I would say locking in. I gotta lock in. You know what I'm saying? I put out a lot of content. I constantly lock in, but I know I can take this to a different level. And I used to have that dog mentality, but a part of my healing journey was don't be that dog no more. And that was a part of my healing journey was letting go of the dog. But to get a lot of the things that I want from my companies and different things like that, it's like, man, that dog, he sure looked nice, man, because he used to give me things. So I think that's the biggest thing, man. Just trying to lock back in.
Man, what's your overall vision for what you got going with Breaking the Machine? Where do you see this thing 5-10 years from now?
I just want our own community. I don't want to be the biggest. I don't want to be, I say we the biggest. I say this and that, but that's just manifestation. That's just, projecting positive energy. But I just want our own community, man. I look at, shows podcasts like 85 South, what Dave McMahon was doing with his podcast, with Joe Budden got, $1 million worth of game, obviously. But it's just like, I just want our own corner of the sky. That's all. I just want our own corner of the sky, our own people, our own community. And I just want to sit back and relax. I don't even want to have to be so heavy on the promotion. I just want to be like any of these normal podcasts. Just put out a picture, this episode out, and they do numbers and do what they got to do. I want to tour, man. I want to do, tours, bro. I want to drop more merch. I want to do all type of stuff. But 5 years from now, what the podcast is going to look like is way more relaxed. Conversation is going to be structured the way that I want them to, because people see what I put out and they can tell my vision is deeper. You know what I'm saying? But your vision can only go as deep as the material that you can manifest to make it go deep. So imagine what it looked like if I had, multiple producers and I had multiple cameras and I had a different, my own studio. I had this, I had that. Like, man, I want this stuff to look like an HBO special, but I want to direct it because people see what I created with the Ancestral plane, what I created with imagine what I could do 5 years from now. Imagine what that's going to look like. That's going to look like, man, it's going to be like it's gonna be a show every Sunday, man, at 1 p.m. It's gonna be crazy.
Man, what's your purpose and how is that connected to what you're doing today?
And I don't know if I know exactly 100% what my purpose is to the T, but I know my purpose is to speak, and I know my purpose is to mentor, and I know it's to mentor in some capacity. And I think that's what I've been doing, just mentoring a lot of the young men at my old high school, man. That's kind of what I do. I created a summer program, me and my partner Jacob, called the DEM program, which stands for Determination, Excellence, and Motivation. But it actually stands for Dios Ex Machina, which means God in the machine. But we just had to give it a name that would have been cool with the schools, because I know they don't, it's a separation between church and state, so you can't say God in schools. So
yeah,
it really stands for God in the machine, which Dios Ex Machina, but we just say it's DEM, Determination, Excellence, Motivation. But yeah, it's a summer program, and we just try to mentor the children throughout the year and stuff like that. But that's my purpose, man. It's just to give back to the other young men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's something about you people would be surprised to know?
I love like plays and like operas and what they call it. I forgot what it's called. It's just like plays, man. Like Glee's my favorite show. And I think I said this on IG Live one day, and people were like, man, you like Glee? Yeah, I like Glee. Glee's my favorite show. Like I just love that show, man. And it's just like I just love it, man. I think that's something that people would be very surprised by. Like, man, you like Glee? Yeah, Glee's a good show, man. So that's
okay.
one thing.
All right. What scares you?
I don't know if any. I had a nightmare the other day. What was the nightmare about? I don't really know. Like that's a good question though. That's a good question. I know because people throw out a million answers, man. I'm scared that it's just I might be startled by a lot of things or caught off guard by a lot of things, but I don't know if I'm really scared of much. That's actually a good question. That's a good question. I'm like, dang, I don't even know what scares me. Like, I can't even.
That's good. I mean, you don't maybe you don't have any fear. You don't gotta find no fear if it ain't there.
I don't know if it's fear. I mean, I always have a fear of like messing up a performance in front of a large crowd of people. You know what I'm saying? Like doing motivational speaking and doing poetry. I get a lot of anxiety before a performance. But I don't know if it's a fear. But I got to think about that one. That's a good one. I know I had a nightmare about something the other day, and that would have been a good example. But I can't remember what the nightmare was about. But yeah.
What's your favorite quote?
Favorite quote by Wale, born to lose, built to win. And that's kind of what I feel. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, I'm born in a society where I was meant to lose, but I was just built in a certain type of way. I was raised in a certain type of way. I just win every time. But I was born to lose. They wanted me to lose, but I just keep winning.
What's the best advice you ever received?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. It's a lot of good advice. I was about to give a funny answer. One of my OGs gave me some good advice to leave a relationship that was funny. But my mom told me recently, just be yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know if it was advice, but she was just like, I love you regardless of anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love you regardless of anything. And I know that's like deeper than advice, but it just hit me hard. And I know it's just like a simple thing, but it's certain things that put in your head as a child, you still have a childish understanding with them, even as a grown person. You know what I'm saying? You still have a child. So you need somebody just to go back and just like pluck that misunderstanding in your brain. So for her just to tell me that, it resonated that time. And it was just so powerful to me. It was just like, okay, I could embarrass myself on this show. I can be the biggest podcast in the world, embarrass myself. I could do all type of stuff. But my mom is going to love me regardless. I got one person who's in my corner for life. And it just gave me peace. So, she just always just tell me to be myself, and she just gave me permission to be myself.
Yeah, that's good, man. Last one. If you could pick up the phone, I usually ask people to call their 20-year-old self. You still a young dude, you just hit 20 a couple years ago. So let's take it even a bit further than that, man. Let's say your 12-year-old self. You could pick up and talk to your 12-year-old self, man. Pops just passed a few years prior. Young man, young boy. What would you tell yourself, man? Knowing what you know today.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people be saying, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't do that. I always say I wouldn't. I always say I would change stuff, but God wouldn't. And I'm just gonna go with God because He's the best of knowers. But I would change a lot. You know what I'm saying? So if I could talk to my younger self, I would just tell him. If I had a minute or 2 minutes, I would just tell him, man, when any opportunity presents itself that you feel passionate about, man, just go for it. Because those are the moments that don't sit well with you later on. The moments that you didn't take, the moments that you didn't, just trust your instinct. Those are the moments that don't sit well with you. Everything else sits well. All the losses, all the fights that all this other, it all sits well. But the stuff that you didn't go and try to take, it doesn't sit well. So I would just tell them that, man. Anytime you don't do something, man, it's not gonna sit well. I know it saved you from the, that turmoil in the moment, but it don't sit well for life, bro. You want to have something that don't sit well for life for a moment that could be unpleasing. Like, man, just go for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, listen, man, thank you again for coming on here, man. Tell everybody what you got coming up, man. Tell them your social media tags, where they can find you when the pods drop. Give them all your information, man.
Man, theancestralplane.com. TheAncestRalplane.com. I don't really spell that out like that all the time, so that that's off the cuff. On the website has all my social media links and stuff like that. So I'm on social media at Ahmad The Poet. But just tap in. Breaking the Machine, the podcast, is the biggest thing that I really care about at this moment. Go check out Breaking the Machine, the podcast, on all the platforms, man. And it's like season 2 is on the way. That's what I'm focused on. Season 2. I want to give it every year is just gonna get better. I mean, better and better. Every season is gonna get better and better. I want to get it closer and closer to that HBO feel, and then I wanted to get beyond HBO. I just want HBO is, what I'm saying, when I'm looking at when I see like how they sit down at the table and I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to get it better and better every year. So, season 2, that's what I got coming. I got season 2 coming, and this season last season we surprised people and we just introduced ourselves. Now this season I want to hit people over the head. I want to pull off some. I want to pull off some things, get some guests on that people that might not know that that we could do or tap in. I just want to hit people over the head. So we just hitting people over the head this season.
Beautiful, bro. Well, listen, man. The last thing that I have my guests do, we coming up on our 2-year anniversary of the pod drop. And when we first started, man, I started by having my guests lobby for a special guest to come on the show. Last January, almost a year to the date today, a year ago, man, we had one of our inspirations on the pod, man. His name was Arian Foster, a former NFL running back, used to play for the Houston Texans, Miami Dolphins. He started a pod after he had retired. And he was one of the cats, man, that I really consumed a lot of his content. And we was able to really get him on the show, man. I had a real powerful, dope conversation last January. And now, man, we lobbying for another special guest that we trying to get, man. And the next guest that we want on here is none other than Charlamagne the God. I love what Charlamagne is doing, bro. On not only just on the mental health side, but like his evolution in real time. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing to see. And for those who know, and I'm sure you know, he's a tycoon in this podcast space, and he's doing some big things, man. Really, from an ownership standpoint, So I really want to sit down and have a conversation with him to connect and build with. So if you can, man, look in your camera right now and tell Mr. Charlamagne why he should be a guest on the Live Your Purpose podcast.
Hey, man, Charlamagne, you need to come on the podcast because we trying to really spread mental health awareness, but we also trying to spread that that Black privilege that you've been talking about. And I know you've been on all these other platforms showing them love, man. You got to flex some of that Black privilege, man. It's privilege to be Black. It's a privilege to be on this platform. It's a privilege to build with your brother, man. Come build with your brother. You dig?
Appreciate you, man. Listen, man, another episode in the books. LYP, much love to the community of my Much love to you, man. Shout out to you, man. Y'all make sure y'all go check out that Breaking the Machine podcast, man, today. Much love to you again. LYP. Peace.